welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. This is Market Today. I'm Sakshi Batra and with me is Shail Bhatnagar. Well, it was a range-bound trading session yesterday for the Nifty. The index eventually managed to eke out some points in the gain to close above the flat line and at above 22,500 mark as well. Also, with Tuesday's session, the Nifty has now gained in 7 out of the last 8 trading sessions as well, with 4 sessions in a row. It was also a day when it was the mid-caps that outperformed, hitting 52,000 mark for the very first time, and sectorally the action was concentrated across metals, PSUs and the railway space. Now as we move into today, remember we'll be keeping a keen eye out on the Nifty bank expiry as well as a whole host of stocks that will be reacting to their earnings which came after the market hours yesterday. So BHEL, Vatek Wabag, Ircon International, Hitachi, GSFC, Metropolis Healthcare, they will react to their earnings. And today we will be keeping an eye on several stocks that will be reporting their earnings today. So Sun Pharma, Power Grid, Grasim, Max Healthcare, Torrent Power, Nykaa, Petronet LNG, Paytm, Garden Reach Shipbuilders and Minda Corp. These will be the companies that I'll be keeping a keen eye out on. Warm welcome to all our viewers and good morning to you, Shail. All right, we will wait for Shail to join in, but remember there are a whole host of cues that you need to keep an eye out on as well. Overnight, you did see that in the US, the S&P 500 that rose to another record ahead of results from giant chip maker Nvidia Corp that trade gauge for sustainable bull market as well. So we did see a bullish trend emerge in the US markets, and following that we've also seen a mixed opening as far as the Asian markets are concerned. Shail is back with us. Shail, morning. What are you watching out for today as cues?
Good morning, Sakshi, and a very warm welcome to all our guests who are with us on this lovely Wednesday morning on Market Today. The temperature, Sakshi, is just soaring across Delhi and across North India, and while the Nifty is quiet and tepid, as you very rightly mentioned, it's up for 7 sessions over the last 10. But the activity is really in the underlying market across NSE 500. Nevertheless, what we'll do is we'll start with our usual daily chart of the Nifty, which is right there in front of you. Sakshi has already mentioned that we have the weekly expiry of the Bank Nifty. So about 30-35% of Nifty, which is comprised of 5-6 private and public sector banks, will remain quiet. Now let's see what the Nifty is up to. Ladies and gentlemen, over the last, how should I say, since May 10th, the Nifty is added about 580 points, and this is where a bit of a pause comes for the index, because not only does it have to digest this uptick, it also has to grapple with the India VIX, the volatility index, that is showing a sustained rise ahead of results which will be announced on June 4th on the ongoing national elections. So Nifty is likely to be quiet today. Let's just look at things that are impacting the index. At the moment, the index seems to be in a sideways narrow zone. If you look at how the trading range shaped out yesterday, there was selling pressure around 22,580 and there was support at 22,440. 450. So the cue, ladies and gentlemen, is that if you see a dip in the Nifty, only then will you get a substantial rise as far as intraday positioning is concerned. Therefore, any move towards 22,450, if you are lucky 22,430, is an opportunity to get back into the Nifty, because that is where the 21-day exponential moving average support kicks in. Over the last 7-8 trading sessions, the bulls have taken upon themselves to capture the 100, the 50 and the 21-day exponential moving average. Till the time we have some substantial moves coming into the banking sector, the Nifty will of course remain in this sideways zone. It's being powered ahead by the metals counters. We'll show you the Nifty metals index right in front of you, which is at a record high. It's going to change a digit today, maybe move into the 5-digit space. Pharma and IT stocks are also helping the Nifty up, but for the moment it's quiet for the index. Maybe 22,600 you'll see selling pressure coming in, and 22,450, 400 is where the buying zone re-emerges. Sakshi has already mentioned out that the Bank Nifty is going to see a weekly expiry. The index in the past 7 days out of 10 has added 1,270 points. since May 10, and it's only a matter of time that this gain has to be digested. Every single PSU banking stock is a fire except for State Bank of India, but the SBI is also consolidating near record highs. So the PSU banking basket is sort of firing all cylinders. Now today is going to be a stock specific day. We are looking at 3 earnings in particular within the Nifty. Grasim, the charts are there in front of you. The counters gained 11.6% over the last 3 months. Remember, Grasim was the last stock check that we did in yesterday afternoon trade. Power Grid, one of the top performers on the Nifty, is up 16% in the past 3 months. Of course, consolidating near record highs. This is something that you need to look to. It was a very strong gainer in Nifty's uptick yesterday. Sun Pharma, the counters flat over the last 3 months, and the earnings are likely to come in later post 3:30 p.m. today. Within the FNO space, we have Petronet LNG, Ramco and Jubilant Foods announcing their 4th quarter performance. Now, the most important stock, ladies and gentlemen, will be BHEL. The chart is there right in front of you. Sakshi will give you the basic details on how the 4th quarter earnings have come in and how the brokerage radar is shaping up. But look at just the order book. It's phenomenal. Order book additions over the last quarter have been to the extent of about 40,000 crore rupees. Overall order book stands in excess of 1 lakh crore rupees. BHEL already is an outperformer, up 44% in the past 3 months, and in the last 1 month it's carried about 16%. Apart from that, you will have Metropolis Healthcare declaring, has already declared its numbers. All those details will be in Sakshi. Also, 2 other stocks, Hitachi Energy and GET&D. They have also come up with their 4th quarter numbers. They are substantially higher. This is a stock that we've been tracking within the capital goods space. Keep an eye out on these 2. And 2 other stocks from the PLI scheme space. PNG Electroplast. Remember, this is a company that's done fantastically well over the last 1 year or so. The company meets for results and a stock split in view, as also Apollo Tyres, a block deal of 1,000 crores, selling coming in from Warburg Pincus of a partial stake sale. Sakshi, what are the cues coming in from the US? How is the FII number stacked up? And what are the other earnings that you are tracking?
Absolutely, Shail. So overnight we did see another tick higher for across the Wall Street, be the S&P 500 that rose to another record level ahead of results from Nvidia that investors are keeping a keen eye out on to really understand whether the bull market trends which have emerged in the US will sustain going forward from here. So a 0.25% jump on the S&P 500. The Nasdaq was up by 0.2%. The Dow Jones also ended higher by about 0.17% in trade. Now, most stocks in the Asia Pacific region have been trading mixed following the Wall Street peers rising to record high levels. So Kospi just eking out about 0.1% of gains, but the Nikkei is down by about 0.7%. Hang Seng flattish with a negative bias, and similarly is the Shanghai, which is just below the flat line as of now. GIFT Nifty, however, is trading with a premium of about 15 odd points, which indicates a flat to a positive start for the Indian markets as well. Remember, the overseas investors in the Indian equities, they've remained net sellers for the second trading session as well. We've actually seen 1874 odd crore rupees of sell-off coming in from FIIs, whereas the domestic institutional investors have turned buyers after a day of selling. They mopped up equities worth about 3549 odd crore rupees of shares in yesterday's trading action. Earnings that came post the market hours. So BHEL, I'm keeping a keen eye out on. In the Q4 fiscal year 2024 consolidated year-on-year numbers, it shows just a marginal uptick in the revenues of about 0.4% at 8,260 crores. EBITDA, however, was down by 30.6% at 728 crores. Margins came in lower compared to last year at 8.8% versus 12.8%. The net profit also was down by about 25.6% at 490 odd crore rupees versus 658 crore rupees. So it has missed the street estimates as of now. Yesterday the stock was up. There could be some marginal downtick on this one as well. There are divergent views we are getting from brokerage houses, which I will list for our viewers going forward from here. But order flow details, as rightly pointed out by Shail earlier. Vatek Vabak Q4 consolidated YOY numbers show that the revenues went up by just about 0.8% at 934 crores. Margins came in higher at 12.4% versus 11.7%. The profitability factor came in strong at 78 crores versus a loss of of 112 crores. So it's the bottom line that has really improved for the company. That should show up in the stock today. Action Construction Equipment in Q4 FY24 consolidated YOY numbers. Revenue is up 36.2% at 836 crores versus 614 crores. We've also seen the margins improve at 15.5% versus 11.9%. Profits came in at 98 crores versus 47 crores. So all across the board, we've seen an improvement. Even yesterday, the stock was up by 6%. Ircon International, it came out with the numbers. Revenue down 1% at 3,743 crores and the EBITDA up by 56.3%. Operational numbers were positive. Margins improved at 7.6% versus 4.8%. However, the profit was down by 3.8% at 247 odd crore rupees as well. Apart from this, we'll also be keeping a keen eye out on PI Industries. Here, the consolidated revenue went up by 11.2% at 1741 crores. We've also seen that the net profit improved by 31.7% at 370 odd crore rupees as well. Mayur Utility, that's another one that I'm keeping a keen eye out on. On a consolidated YOY numbers, we've seen the revenues went up by 14.3% at 221 crores. EBITDA improved by 17.2%. Margins at 18.7% versus 18.2%. So not too much of a difference there. But the profit improved by almost 38% to 32 odd crore rupees. So good set of numbers coming in. Sheela Foam reported its numbers. Consolidated YOY numbers show a revenue improved by 16% at 845 crores. Net profit jumped by 49.5% at 65 crores versus 44 crores. And the margins, however, were subdued, came down from 10.7% to 9.5% as well. Hitachi Energy, here the Q4 results showed that the net profit improved by 124% to 113.7 crore rupees. So that's going to be an important one to watch out for as well as far as the company is concerned. Remember, the company has also delivered strong revenues of 1699 odd crore rupees, up 27.2% year on year versus 1336 crores in the year ago period as well. Apart from this, I'm also keeping a keen eye out on GET&D. It improved its earnings as far as the FY24 order bookings is concerned by 112%. Revenue also improved by 14 odd percent as well for the company, and the profit after tax also improved substantially by about 7.3% as well. So strong results coming in for this one too. A whole host of these earnings that I will be keeping a keen eye out on Shell today.
Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for our very dear friend, Mr. Gaurang Shah. He joins us from Geojit Financial Services, where he is the Senior Vice President. Namaskar, Gaurang ji. Swagat hai aapka. Shubh Prabhat. As usual, you are dressed to the T, and I still have this, how should I say, complaint against you that you haven't shared the details of your tailor with me. Nevertheless, दोस्तों के बीच में जब तक ये नहीं चलेगा, तब तक जिंदगी आगे कैसे चलेगी? आपकी सेवा के लिए प्रस्तुत करते हैं कोचीन शिपयार्ड का स्टॉक और उसका चार्ट. Sakshi and I were remembering you yesterday, and as luck would have it, the guest desk was very kind to request for your time. Once again, I doff my hat to you, a screaming buy. क्या बात?
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका शैल जी, आपको, साक्षी को और BTTV के सभी दर्शकों को हमारा सादर प्रणाम और शुभ प्रभात हमारे तरफ से.
Morning, sir.
So, when the next time you are in Bombay, I'm definitely going to take you to my tailor, and the entire suit is going to be on me, Shail. So rest assured, the choice is yours and the bill is on me. And, unfortunately, Sakshi, I can't offer you this because I can't. Yeah, but I think on the market, Shell, and absolutely on Cochin Shipyard, I think the targets that we had said was 1400, and it is well above those levels. And I think the going is just getting to set for the entire defense sectors, Shell. And I'm not talking about the next 6 months, next 1 year, 2 years. I'm talking about the next 3 to 5 years, and even beyond. And you know, some of these are recommendations, some of these are companies which are very strongly placed in terms of their financial balance sheet and order book. So be it Cochin Shipyard, be it Mazgaon Dock, Hindustan Aeronautics, Bharat Dynamics, BEML, BHEL, BEL, these are all, you know, stocks that unless and until you require money, you should not sell them. and these are some growth stories for the next and these are multipliers. Somebody was asking me which is the next multi-bagger. So I gave them this Panch Pandavs, though these are not straight away recommendations, but these are the companies which are likely to perform on fallback of the government policies, and of course make in India, made in India, and the big theme of making India a manufacturing hub. Shell. So I mean, these are absolutely no-brainers. One can possibly start doing a SIP if one has the wisdom to do that.
Right. Let's get Sakshi into the conversation. And ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who've been with us for a very long time, one will remember the wonderful declaration that Gaurang had given post the stock split of Cochin Shipyard. Let me just get Sakshi into the conversation. She will repeat the exact phrase that Gaurang Bhai had used when the stock was between 750 to 800 rupees. And this was not 2 years ago, this was 4 months ago. Sakshi, over to you.
Well, of course, we do know that there was no voice as strong when it comes to the defense play as Gaurang. He did say screaming buy on Cochin Shipyard, and the stock within just months, or I should say weeks, in fact. That's what I said even yesterday, Shail, that within weeks we have seen that his conviction has played out, and played out how. 1400 was his target from about 750 rupees. It's now at 1641. Thereafter, we pressed him again when the stock crossed 1000 odd levels, 1200 odd levels as well, to tell us whether people should invest in Cochin Shipyard and the entire defense peak. And Gaurang clearly told everyone, no mincing no words, and he said, do not waste any more time and invest. So those were the words clearly I remember, and I will continue to remind all our viewers every time Gaurang is on air, or even when he is not on air, we continue to mark these stocks by remembering him. And again today, he has used the third time the phrase that anyone having the wisdom will start a SIP in these defense stocks. So that's the third line of conviction coming in from Gaurang on defense stocks, Shail.
और गौरंग जी, आपको अगर कभी दिन में हिचकी आती हुई दिखे ना, और आपको लगे पता नहीं ये क्यों आ रही है, तो आप समझ लीजिए आपकी बहुत आपको याद किया जा रहा है बिजनेस टुडे टेलीविजन पर. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, it's rare to get a multi-bagger in less than a year, and here it is right there in front of you, Cochin Shipyard, that Gaurang suggested, how should I say, very emphatically, that at 750 you must buy. Gaurang, your views on BHEL today? Very, very strong order book, just a mild downtick in fourth quarter profit. The stock, of course, has screamed 44% higher in the past 3 months, and up about 16% in 1 month. How do you think it should be reacting at today's earnings?
So let's understand one thing entirely about this defense place, Shell. As we all know, these companies make high technology, precise products. And there is a lot of time, energy, brains that have been put into making those products, because they have to be of above standard, international standard. And they have to pass through a lot of tests at defense ministry level at their own, and then of course the experts in the defense. Once they get the final approval of that prototype, you get the entire mass scale production getting on the way, and that's when the multi-bagger multiplier effect starts rolling in terms of order book getting executed, top line expanding, and of course your profitability becoming much, much stronger. So on fallback of the numbers, little bit of downtick, I guess there should be some amount of subdued reaction on BHEL. But like I said, Shell, I think a couple of sectors you should not map them quarter on quarter earnings basis, in case if you are planning to make an alternative, switch in your investment theory. Defense and cap goods engineering. These are the two sectors which you have to look at more fundamentally, if you ask me, year on year basis, or maybe half yearly basis. Quarter and quarter comparison may not give you the right picture, and in that process you may end up taking a wrong decision by exiting that stock. So I would say that, very humbly say that, please look at yearly numbers for cap goods, engineering as well as defense. And if you are very much concerned, then half yearly numbers. But again, don't paint the entire balance sheet with the same brush, because there is something hidden between the lines. So you may see a little bit of subdued reaction. Yesterday, the stock was a flyer, and over the last 1 week and maybe 1 month and maybe 3 months time, it has been in a decisive uptick BHEL. So you may see a little bit of subdued reaction on the numbers front and a little bit of lower level as far as BHEL is concerned.
Okay. Well, Gaurang, again a warm welcome and good morning to you. My next question will be on the entire railway space. Again, we've seen a slew of record highs coming in yesterday, earnings reactions flowing through in the entire railway space as well. Where is this space headed, and are there any names that you would be consistently looking at buying every time the stock is showing some dips even now?
So Sakshi, thank you very much. आपको भी शुभ प्रभात and morning to you as well. Uh, I would give a broader, an aerial view of the Indian Railways and the companies which are associated with it. This is not a direct investment idea, but just referring to the names with respect to the capabilities, capacity, balance sheet, and the futuristic growth. So let me put it in one line. Any company which is associated with Indian Railways, whether it is a government owned or whether it is private owned, these companies are following the footsteps of what we saw defense sector going through. And I will also like to put in power sector over here with the same kind of an approach. And the reason why I say this, Sakshi, is because there is a lot that is happening at ground level as far as Indian Railways expanding network, getting your dedicated freight corridors. I don't know whether you've seen this or not, but I'm sure Shell would have seen it. At least I have seen it. I was in Saurashtra, and I saw a dedicated freight corridor track passing just some distance away from where my hotel was. And the goods train that passed by had two stacks of containers. You know, earlier we used to see a single container. There are two stacks of containers, and that length of that train was 2.5 kilometers. And there were three locomotives in front of that, lineup, hauling that, pulling that particular entire, line of containers. So, these are changes that the Indian Railways is going to. Then you have the Vande Bharat, then you have the, bullet train possibly kicking off. You have modernization of railway stations. You have last mile connectivity getting resolved because of the kind of dependency we have on road transport. Government is planning on to bring in railways with a dedicated part of that transportation coming through. So any company which is well managed, whether it is government or private, I think you should definitely think twice in terms of your investment ideas. Though I would again repeat myself, these are no direct recommendations, but just referring to the names, and the names would be, IVRCL, RVNL, IRCTC, uh, Container Corp. Of course, Container Corp, we have a buy recommendation. That's a disclosure. Then you have names like Titagar Wagon, you have Railtel, etc., etc. So, these are all the companies which will go along the Indian Railways growth trajectory.
Okay. And you did say power space also, sir. So could you give us some of those names as well that you were referring to?
So I would first name the strong names. Again, these are not the direct recommendations in any
Sure.
form, but just the names which can possibly do perform better in terms of earnings. No direct recommendation. The names are, Torrent Power, you have Adani Power, etc., etc., which are doing quite well. Coverage that we have, Sakshi, names would be Tata Power, CESC, NTPC, Power Grid. You have names which are, again, these are not recommendation, as referred earlier with Torrent Power and Adani Power. You have Power Finance Corporation, REC. Uh, these are also some of the names which are a very good part of the entire new power generation capacity coming up. And of course, government has already lined up somewhere close to about 300 to 500, 300 to 500 gigawatts of new power production capacity. A large part of it is going to be solar and wind. So that's the growth that we are talking about. And every year your power consumption is going up. So you definitely have to work on more power generation.
Just very quickly, sir, 30 seconds to go. IEX, what's your view?
Firstly, please refer to me as Gaurang. I would love it, Sakshi. Cut that sir part of it. It's a humble request.
Sure.
So, IEX, again, Sakshi, I have come across so many retail investors stuck in this name purely because of the fall that he had from those levels to the current level where it is. And of course, that government policy decision which has actually added to the underperformance. So, no coverage over here, no recommendations. One needs to be careful. That's the only word of advice I have.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the pre-open rates are upon us and it's a very nice green start. Yesterday we were wondering why the market fell when all the cues were positive. Today we are wondering why the market is up when all the cues are neutral. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Extreme Volatility. 100-point uptick on the Nifty, 22,648, right there in front of you. Remember, we do have a view that the Nifty will hit a record high before June 4th elections are out. Let's look at the index heavyweight. It's a good morning as far as HDFC Bank is concerned. 20 rupees higher, 1479. How about Reliance? This is in a bit of a pain, but this will improve dramatically. Let's look at Infosys, flat as flat can be, 1434. What's actually pulling up the index apart from, okay, it's the day for banks, remember, on the weekly expiry. Axis Bank is 37 points higher, 1174. Now this is surprising but pleasantly good and welcomed with both open arms. ICICI Bank is 11 rupees higher, 1132. How about SBI? Flat, age 26, actually in the red. What else is ticking? Let's look at Kotak. Okay, Kotak has slipped 15 points. So it's actually the three banks that are pulling the Nifty higher. HDFC Bank, the highest weighted stock, Axis and ICICI. Even Bajaj Finance is in the green, 115 higher, 1658. Very quickly we'll look down into the NSE 500 and BHEL spaces. I just want to see what BHEL is doing, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just look at it this way. BHEL. The stock is right there in front of you as far as prices are concerned. Okay, 5.7% lower, 301. This is a reaction to the drop in profit, but wait for it to stabilize. What else is moving smartly? Let's look at the top gainers. As far as F&O stocks are concerned, Apollo Tyres, remember, a 1,040 crore block deal at 4% below the current market price is what is slated. Warburg Pincus is selling a part of its stake. Let's look at NSE 500. Okay, Hindustan Zinc, wow, 3.4% higher, 766. So definitely we are going to see a digit change as far as the metals index is concerned. It will move to 5 digits from 4. Okay, what else is moving? Cummins India, 2.4% higher, 3840. Triveni Engineering, 2.3% higher, 360. The index is now a sensible 66 points higher, 22,595. We'll pay attention to these stocks a little later. I believe Mitesh Panchal is with us. Good morning to you, Mitesh. Any two stocks you feel will outperform in today's trade on the long side as far as charts are concerned?
Yeah, I think 3 stocks, not 2. Shailji, good morning. Good morning to the panelists as well. Good morning to the viewers as well. First is Angel One. After a very steep correction, I think now Angel One has spent a good time in the consolidation and now is ready for a strong up move. So Angel is on the radar. We are of the view that from here on, if somebody maintains a stop loss of 2,481, that's a buy with a stop of 2,481, Angel One, for a target of 3,031, 3031. Two stocks from the MNC space is looking very attractive. First is AstraZeneca Pharma. AstraZeneca Pharma, if you look at the chart pattern on both daily and weekly chart, above 5,700, the stock has given a very strong breakout. So with a stop of 5,197, one can go long in AstraZeneca Pharma for a potential target of 6,351. And second from the same space is Pfizer. Even Pfizer above 4,400 has given a very strong breakout. So 4,473 is where Pfizer is traded right now. So with a stop of 4,026, 4,026, one can go long in Pfizer for a potential target of 4,925. So three stocks for the day: Angel, AstraZeneca Pharma, and Pfizer.
Okay, let's look at some other prices in the PSU basket which might be in an uptick, ladies and gentlemen. Dredging Corp 5% higher, 936. BEL, no stopping that, 1.7% higher, 278. Let's look at the defense space. What is it doing? Okay, BDL 1.3% higher, 2571. BEL 1.4% higher, 4225. Mitesh ji, to you, any favorites within the defense pack? Yesterday the earnings from BEL were a blowout. Today we are expecting Garden Reach Shipbuilders. What are your thoughts on the defense space?
As far as defense space is concerned, I think we continue to like BEL because after a very strong consolidation phase, about 260, the stock has given final breakout on quarterly charts. And now this breakout is sustainable. So on the upside, one can eye at 320, 350 in the next 1 to 3 months. Apart from that, even Bharat Forge is looking very attractive at the current level. Because if you look at the setup strategy, both monthly and quarterly chart do advocate the fact that the stock is now ready for a very big upside from the current level. So Bharat Forge is looking pretty promising. Above 1,480, we have witnessed a very strong breakout. So now the stock is eyeing for 1,700, 1,800 range in next 1 to 3 months. So yes, BEL and Bharat Forge is two spaces which we are looking from the defense side.
Okay, let's also look at the tire space and JK Tire within that. It reported its numbers, posting a 56% rise in consolidated net profit on sustained demand in the fourth quarter at 169 odd crore rupees, and the stock is hovering about 9% higher in the pre-open trade at 440 odd rupees right now. Midesh, would you be chasing the momentum if the stock were to open this high?
Absolutely. The reason for that, Sakshi, is that from a level of 554, to be very precise, 553.95, which is its recent high, which it has formed on the weekly chart for the week ended 9th of February 2024. After that, stock witnessed a very steep correction. And in the recent past, between 380 to 400, stock has formed a bottom. So yes, now the stock is up for a very big upside. Today's price action, we can view it as a strong breakout as the stock is opening with 8.78% upside and crossing 435. So yes, this momentum is chaseable and one can eye at around 480 to 520 in the near term. And there is no surprise, even JK Tire today hits a higher circuit of 20% or post a very strong gain in next 1 week or so. So today's breakout confirms that it's a trend reversal, and definitely it's a chaseable. Reason being is this, that it is available at a very attractive risk reward ratio.
Okay, very attractive risk reward ratio. Let's get Gaurang into the conversation to understand more about tire space overall and what is really happening in this space as well. Gaurang, how are you assessing the numbers that are coming in from this space? We were looking at Balkrishna Industries that was consistently moving up a few days ago. It was Apollo Tires before that, and now it's JK Tires that's in momentum after the earnings. How should one be really viewing this entire space?
So, Sakshi, on a lighter note, without a tire, you can't even ride a bicycle.
Yeah.
Forget about two-wheelers, motorcycles, three-wheelers, cars, high-end cars, etc., etc. And the other irony of the entire thing is that in a passenger vehicle and in trucks, whatever tires touch the surface of the road is fine, but you also have one spare in the stepney. So our sense is that, and the kind of launches that are lined up, it augurs extremely well for tire manufacturing companies. Our coverage universe is limited to Apollo, JK, BKT. We had coverage on CEAT and MRF earlier. MRF, I don't want to discuss it because we know the valuation. And CEAT, we are reviewing our coverage. But currently we have these three names under coverage, that is Apollo, JK, as well as Balkrishna Tires, Balkrishna Industries, which is known as BKT Tires. And not only your new order market is very robust and strong, Sakshi, but equally strong and robust is your replacement market. For example, if you would have uh, put aligned any of JK tire or Apollo tire on your in your car, and if it has given you a good service life, you by default will go to the tire shoppy and ask for the same company tires because you're reliable on those tires. So that's the kind of brand loyalty also that some of these companies continue to maintain. And lower crude oil prices is also one big positive for tire manufacturing companies.
I have a hilarious story to relate about my experience with tires. Gaurang, someday when we are going to that tailor's showroom, I'll relate a wonderful story. You'll laugh your head out as far as my experience with a particular tire company is concerned. We'll leave that at the moment. Let's look at some other prices which are led by earnings. So Power India, which is
about
Hitachi
MRF
Energy,
Shell, if
fourth
I can
quarter
guess
profit has
right.
doubled. Yes, I think
I
I
know
related
that
it to
story.
you once, Sakshi.
Yes, I
But
know
we'll
that story.
keep.
Yeah, we'll keep it mysterious.
Yeah, we'll keep it mysterious for Gaurang, and we'll also get Mitesh on the call at that point of time. It's a very funny story, and we'll talk about it a little later. So earnings-led moves, ladies and gentlemen. Power India, better known as Hitachi Energy, 6% higher, 11,500. This is not a record high, but fairly close to it. Very strong fourth quarter earnings. Profit doubles to 113 crore rupees. Action construction equipment, the cranes that you see moving across construction phases and units and on the roads are made by Action construction equipment. ACE, again earnings led 4% higher, 1640. Apollo Tires block deal 502, 4% higher. Aptus Value Housing, remember this was the top traded counter yesterday because of a very large block deal. It's now up 2.8% after yesterday's 5% dip. NHPC, Hindustan Copper in the green. These are two stocks that are doing pretty well. Let's look at the FNO space and then get Mitesh into the conversation. Dixon, 1.7% higher, 9,279. The reason why I mentioned Dixon is that Google's handset Pixel 8 will now be partially made in India, and Dixon Technologies is the vendor as per media reports. The entire PSU pack, National Aluminium, ONGC, GAIL in the green. Let's get Mitesh into the conversation. Mitesh, anything that catches your fancy in this pre-open settlement that we've seen? The Nifty is now 47 points higher, 22,576.
Yeah, GAIL is one stock which I will probably looking for, because since last few trading sessions it is in trading in a very narrow range. So now probably GAIL for the day is what we can look for. 206.60 is where the pre-open takes place. So with a stop of 202, one can eye for an intraday target of 210, 212, because above 205 on the hourly chart, it has confirmed a reversal. So yes, GAIL, Shailji, one can look for the intraday trade today.
Okay, got that. So that's as far as GAIL is also concerned. Let's again look at some of the other moving factors again in trade today. Metals pack I wanted to discuss with you entirely. It was the day of trade for the metals movers yesterday. I wanted to ask you, Mitesh, in case you're looking at a following up buying even today as well. So stocks like Hindustan Zinc, Hindalco, Tata Steel, JSW Steel, where exactly do you see momentum continuing?
Two stocks. First is SAIL, Steel Authority of India. Second is Tata Steel. Both the stocks are looking very promising, and the sustainability of the trend is clearly visible. 175 is where in the pre-open trade, the pre-open session, it has settled SAIL, and same is the case with Tata Steel. So we are of the view that both SAIL and Tata Steel is eyeing for 190, 200 plus target going forward, with a stop of close to 165. One can go for both Tata Steel and SAIL as a long call for 190, 200 target. A very strong up move can be visible in both Tata Steel and SAIL.
Okay, let's get Gaurang into the conversation, especially on Hindustan Zinc. I wanted to take your view, Gaurang, after that 20% surge that we've seen yesterday after the silver prices rise supported the move on Hindustan Zinc. What else is in the offing for this stock? Do you see it's done and dusted for now?
Well, given the rallies, actually, you could see a little bit of pullback consolidation, and the entire metals universe has been up and buzzing thanks to the positivities that has been maintained as far as the global news flow, especially from China, is concerned. We are also of the opinion post whatever numbers we've witnessed as far as the fourth quarter earnings are concerned last financial year and the comments from the management with respect to pricing power coming back slightly and a revision as far as the flat and long products are concerned. This can possibly add to the positivities. Input cost has gone down, which is again more positive. So expect the momentum to continue as far as the entire metals universe is concerned. Hindustan Zinc, we do have coverage over there. Given the run up, you can expect a little bit of consolidation. And not to forget, we are approaching a very choppy time, Sakshi. On 30th of this month, we'll have the FNO expiry, which is a Thursday, of course. On 1st, which is a Saturday, we'll have the last day of the election, and 1st June, evening 6 o'clock, we will witness the exit polls. 2nd June is Sunday. A reaction to the markets will only be on 3rd June because that's Monday. And then, of course, the final outcome, which is on 4th of June by the Election Commission. So I expect a lot of choppiness and volatility in the market for the next at least 15 odd days.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, the pre-open is morphed into the opening trade. 22,560 for you as far as the Nifty is concerned. A bit of a red on the Bank Nifty. The stock to watch is BHEL post earnings. 6% lower, 298.65. It remains to be seen what the closing quote will be. Will people buy because of very strong order books, or are the people reacting only to the knee-jerk drop in fourth quarter profit? Let's dig a little deeper into how the markets are moving. HDFC Bank is flat, 1458. Axis Bank and ICICI Bank are a bit up, rupee and 2 rupee respectively. Reliance is 5 rupees 75 higher, 28.77, and Infosys is 6 rupees higher, 14.39. What we'll do is we'll take a detour into NSE 500, look at the most active counters. Needless to say, it's okay, surprise, State Bank of India, 1 rupee lower at 1% lower at 822. So it's a big boy day. Let's look at Coal India, 0.7% higher, 493. This is something that you need to look at. There's nothing much happening here. Look at the top gainers. Okay, this is an odd list. I don't think so. This is what is correct. Okay, Hindustan Zinc, 7% higher, ladies and gentlemen. There is no let up. 795. The counters up 74% in the last 1 month, and now adding another 7%. Power India, this is earnings led, 6% higher, 11,470. Apollo Tyre, a block deal has already happened, 4.6% higher, 505. You have Action Construction, 3.4% higher, 1631. Coforge, this is something that slipped our mind. A QIP is open today to fund the Signity purchase. This is 2% higher, 48.97. Cochin Shipyard, 3% higher, no let up. Let's look at all-time highs. RVNL, Adani Power, and of course Garden Reach are the stocks that are up in trade. Dixon Technologies, 3.5% higher, 94.20. Let's look at FNO. Anything interesting that catches my eye? You have 8 top gainers in terms of record highs, and all of them are metals. Hindalco, 688. Jindal Steel and Power, 1064. Tata Steel, 174.75. Vedant, 497, 1% higher. And Coal India, I take it as metal only, 494.83% higher. So ladies and gentlemen, it's a metals day once again. Needless to say, the index would have moved to 5 digits. Let me just reconfirm that. It's the Nifty Metals Index. Yes, 10,010, 0.3% higher. Mitesh, coming to you, anything that catches your fancy in early deals?
Two stocks, LG. First is Metropolis. And I mean, the kind of move it has today above 950 is what is really interesting. So at 1970, where the future is traded, Metropolis is a buy with a stop of 1940 for a potential target of 2020. And second is Oro Pharma. 1128 is where the future is traded with a stop of 1200. Oro Pharma looks interesting today for a potential target of 2045, 2060.
Okay. Got that. Well, a whole host of the other stocks, let's quickly mark them out as well. A sharp move being also seen across the board on Gulf Oil Lubricants post earnings. The stock is up by 4 odd percent. IREDA, again a 4% up move that can be seen on this one as well. JK Tyre that we had discussed before the markets opened, again a 9% of an up move can be seen. Apollo Tyres, of course, it's an entire tire move that's going strong. PI Industries post earnings 3.5% higher, among the top movers in the F&O space as well. You also have, apart from the metals rally that Shell has pointed out, do we have anything more? No, so mostly, and Metropolis Healthcare that continues to be about 4.5% higher in trade right now. Okay, Mitesh, give us your views on IREDA. How are you really looking at the stock? Is this a momentum that should be chased?
As far as IREDA is concerned, yeah, momentum can be chased because it's re-rating on the stocks. Above 185, it's a fresh breakout. But one thing, Sakshi, which one need to understand at this point of time is that if you are chasing such momentum, please make sure that you are strictly following the trailing stop loss strategy. So if position, the trading stop loss now is 170. If you want to buy a fresh one, again the trading stop loss is 170. If you are not in a position to follow the strict stop losses, then please do not chase PSU right now because it is going to be very highly volatile sessions going forward for all these stocks. So yes, the trend is intact. Yes, the up move is intact, but because of the volatility, one need to be very clear with the strict stop loss policy. So once again, if you are not in a position to follow the strict or the trailing stop loss policy, please do not get into these counters.
Okay, and record high continues on the mid cap space. It's now trading at 52,328, 260 point of a move. This is for the first time. The index has now crossed 52,300 as well. Strong move right here, Mitesh. What looks positive to you within the mid cap space? Anything that you've continued to keep an eye out on since yesterday?
See, as far as mid cap space are concerned, there are many more stocks, but few things which are really catching the eyes as of now is exactly they are the part of mid cap or not, that I don't know, but I think Gujarat Gas is something which is looking pretty interesting on the chart. 560 is where the futures are traded with a 550 stop loss. One can go long into the stocks for a potential target of 580, 590. Second thing, Sakshi, second stock which looks very promising from the mid-cap arena is Praj Industries. After a long consolidation and a steep correction, now finally stock is ready for an up move. So we are expecting the stock to enter into a new trading range between 580 and 600. So with a stop of 500, one can go long in Praj Industry as well.
Sakshi, let's look at stocks that are moving in trade. I'd like to mark Marico. It's rare that we discuss this one. Marico is at 599, and the reason why I mark this is that it just might move out of a sideways consolidation zone. And you know, of all the stocks today, it's Reliance's turn. And about time, ladies and gentlemen, a very, very interesting development. It's bounced above 21-day exponential moving average. Getting in Mitesh Bhai into the conversation. The big boy of them all, Mitesh Bhai, Reliance moves. What would you do, sir? All-time high for this is 3,025. We are at 2893. Your view, sir?
Sir, you have picked up the right counter at the right price at the right time, and you are discussing absolutely in the morning show. This is the stock to watch for the next 1 week. Two stocks. First, let's start with RIL. It is gaining a momentum, and I hope and wish that going forward, it will cross its all-time high and eyeing at 3100 level. So definitely at 2893, it's definitely a buy with a stop of 2820 for a potential target of 3000 And second big boy, which is now coming into the limelight, is ITC. It is a forgotten story, but now the stock is coming back into the on the radar, and we are of the view that ITC is going to hit a strong upside in the near future. 437 is where the stock is traded. We are of the view that sooner than later, along with Reliance, 480, 500 is where the stock is headed as far as ITC is concerned. So with a stop of 400, one can go for a long side trade formation with a potential target of 480, 500 in the near future. So yes, Reliance and ITC both are a very strong buy at the current level positionally for the holding period of next 10 to 12 trading sessions.
Okay, thank you for pointing out ITC as well, Mitesh. This is on my radar, and we'll discuss this a little later. Let's look at the broader markets in terms of advanced decline, Sakshi. We are now almost at 925. First 10 minutes of trade is done. So 1446 advances at 924 compared with 623 declines. Ladies and gentlemen, we track about 19 indices for you, and out of 19, 15 are in the green, led by the Nifty Realty Index. We'll discuss that a little later. What's moving, ladies and gentlemen, are two stocks. IRCTC 1.9% higher, 1136, and of course LIC 1051. Mitesh, your pick between IRCTC and LIC?
Undoubtedly, IRCTC. Just a disclaimer, at 900, at 924, when we are discussing Reliance, we had intraday call on IRCTC. So disclaimer, our client might have a direct or indirect position in the stock, looking very promising, Shailji. At 1134 is where the future is traded. With a stop of 1100, one can go long in IRCTC for a potential target of intraday potential target of 1150, 1160, and a positional target of 1180. So IRCTC looks very promising. And sir, your Reliance is hitting a new high, 2913.15 is where the future is traded.
Okay, got that. So that's the bullish call coming in on IRCTC, and not just that, even RVNL continues to soar higher after yesterday's strong move, and record high moves continue on this one. 4% uptick can be seen on RVNL even today as well. What else apart from the railway counter IRCTC looks positive to you within the space, Mitesh? Is RVNL also on your top radar?
See, as far as the rail stocks are concerned, yes, definitely. Other stocks are also on the radar, and Rail Vikas is one of them. I think, as I said, Sakshi earlier also, these are the momentum which needs to be chased, even REC, PFC, and all the PSU, despite the fact that gain is down by a hefty amount of percentage. Today, we are looking for a bottom formation. So probably today, tomorrow, the losses will be erased and the stock will start hitting a new high. The only concern is that one should make sure that you maintain a strict stop loss in these kind of stocks. So coming back to Rail Vikas, 345 is where the breakout has occurred today. So now this breakout will take the stock to 380, 400 levels. So with a stop of 330, one can go long for a potential target of 380, 400 in next 2 to 3 trading sessions as far as Rail Vikas is concerned.
Okay, got that. So apart from this, there are several other stocks that are trading at fresh record highs within the first 10 minutes. Cochin Shipyard, it's at a record high level, 3% higher today, and like we always say that there cannot be a day when Gaurang is here and Cochin Shipyard does not hit an all-time high. Hindustan Zinc, that's as a 7% move. BEML is 4% higher. Coal India, that's 2.5% higher. These are the stocks that are trading at fresh all-time high levels. Anything from this list of stocks, Mitesh, that looks positive?
See, again, one thing which is very clear among the space which you have discussed is that it's all about extension of the trend. And what we are liking right now is Coal India, because after a very strong consolidation, now the stock is up for a very strong upside. So the kind of marathon move which we have witnessed in other stocks, PSU stocks, Coal India is a bit of a laggard. And we are of the view that going forward, Coal India is here to hit 600 to 700 range in next 3 to 4 months. It is going to be a very strong rally in the counter. So yes, at 500 level, Coal India is a buy. Deeper stop loss 450 because it's a positional target. So because the positional targets are high, so the 450 stop loss, one can go long in Coal India for a potential target of 600, 700. PSU theme per se is here to stay for a longer period of time. So anywhere, if you're looking at a crack, one should go and buy the stock. The only concern repeatedly, which I say in the show, is that one need to be very clear with the trailing stop loss.
Getting Gorang into the conversation, the first 15 minutes of trade is fairly stable, Gorang. Anything that catches your fancy that could be seen as potentially moving for the better in the coming day or the coming days?
So I think banking, public sector banks, Canara Bank has gone split. That is one stock that I feel has potential in terms of long-term investment idea at about 116, 117. If you have an investable time horizon, I think it's a good investment idea, Canara Bank.
Fair point. That is something that we are looking at. And Sakshi, market favorite CDSL 2205. This is also on the move. Let me just see how the chart is positioned. Okay, all-time high is 2239. Okay, it's at already 2202. Mitesh ji, with your help, I'm sure 2239 is achievable on CDSL. What do you say?
Mitesh, we are unable to hear you clearly. Could you please check your settings? No, I think there is some issue. We will try to sort that out. Meanwhile, we'll try to, yeah.
Yes, we'll just wait for Mitesh to relink. But Sakshi, I think it's the day of our old favorite, which is the FMCG pack to
Yes.
come back into the sector with a bag. Hindustan Unilever, ladies and gentlemen, is now at 2334. Remember, I started the conversation with Marico. ITC is throbbing, and Dabur is now 1% higher, 546. So it's a trend that is across the board. Gaurang, would you have any favorites here which might burst out with gains? Remember, Marico's earnings were pretty good, and that day the stock had hit 15-16%.
So I have one too many favorites, to be very honest with you, Shail. And you know, I'm a strong believer about consumption in India, and the way India has been a consumption-driven economy. You have a Gen Z population of somewhere close to about 35% with an age of 28 and 30. Consumption will be very, very robust thanks to the rain gods being kind this year. That's what the Met Department has predicted. So your demand from semi-urban and rural India is going to be very, very strong. Margins are going to look better. Input cost has improved. Palm oil, which was a big issue post the Thailand restricting exports, has now got resolved. Dabur, Marico, Imami, Tata Consumer, Godrej Consumer, HUL, ITC, Britannia, Nestle, all these feature in our fundamental coverage.
Okay, so that's as far as the entire FMCG pack is also concerned. Let's again look at Coforge. It's now moving higher in trade, 2.2% up in the FNO space. Remember, Shail has already pointed out the key reason of QIP, which the company is looking to intending to raise about 2,240 odd crore rupees through the QIP. That's perhaps behind this move on Coforge right now. Within the mid-cap IT space, Gaurang, where are you keeping a keen eye out on?
So this was the name that we had recommended about 2 weeks back, post the numbers which and Coforge was down and out almost about 8-10%. Correct me if I'm wrong at that time, post the numbers. They were the numbers what is pointing. The next name that we are positive, which was again down on fallback of disappointing numbers, was L&T Technologies. Other than these two names, extremely positive on Tata Technologies, KPIT Tech, and Science Limited. So five names, Sakshi, from small stroke mid cap IT universe.
Okay, got that. Well, now let's shift focus to Paytm. It's come out with the earnings. Remember, it has been a turbulent quarter for Paytm after the regulators move on Paytm's Payments Bank. The company has reported a widening of loss to about 550 odd crore rupees. My colleague Pawan Nahar is with us to give us more details as to how the earnings have shaped up. Pawan, good morning. What are the earnings looking like?
Good morning, Sakshi. So, 197 Communications, the parent company of Paytm, reported its quarterly earnings earlier today, and it is the first time that Paytm has, reported its earning after RBI's action, where the banking regulator asked Paytm to freeze its banking business over irregularities. So, since that period, stock of Paytm is down about 55% from 761 odd rupees. So in this quarter, Sakshi, Paytm reported a net loss of 550 crores, which is in line to the expectations, as the brokerages were expecting a net loss of around 400 to 750 crores. However, revenue is slightly better in terms of performance, where it is in the expectation. It is in line with the expectations of 2,300 crores rupees, as the company has reported a revenue of 2,267 crore rupees. EBITDA for the quarter before ESOPs, it has come in the range of 103 crores. And Paytm has reported the full year EBITDA profitability before ESOPs, which is around 550 odd crores. So Sakshi, Paytm was and brokerages were expecting a dismal performance from Paytm. However, on the face of it, it has reported a negative numbers, but it's not as dismal as it was expected. We have to see that how streets react to these numbers, and how the stock fares in the coming sessions. Over to you, Sakshi.
Right, Pawan. Well, thanks for those details. And the stock is down by 1.2%. Let's get Gaurang into the conversation. We also have the statement from Vijay Shekhar Sharma, who's mentioned that I'm happy to share that we have successfully transitioned our core payment business from PPBL to other partner banks. This move de-risks our business model and also opens up new opportunities for long-term monetization. He's also mentioned that while the company will see full financial impact in Q1 of FY 2025 of prudent operations, risk policies and temporary disruptions, it is confident to see meaningful improvements starting Q2 of FY 25. How should one view Paytm now, Gaurang?
Well, I'm surprised that Mr. Shekhar Sharma has made these statements. I was wondering why was he so mum when the entire episode exploded. I am absolutely of an opinion that post the pandemic, the way Paytm has helped all of us to move forward is undoubtedly extremely credible. But unfortunately, for the reasons that the company was pulled up for by Reserve Bank of India, is absolutely unacceptable. And then there was a long period of silence as to what happened. In fact, this gentleman went on to the extent to say that he doesn't know what has happened. Correct me if I'm wrong. That was at least the flash that I remember reading. So now coming back to the current situation, we have coverage, Sakshi, but on the sell side, uh, we don't see much clarity in terms of where the company is going.
Sakshi, I think this has been a pain point. Paytm has had all sorts of bad news over the last 5 months or so, and Gaurang is absolutely right. I don't think so. There has been a better case where the brand name of a company has turned into a generic epithet, which is Paytm Karo. It is sad that despite this kind of a brand, we've had so many issues coming out of the company, and let's hope that the brand continues to exist, and I am sure it will. It just might change hands over the next maybe 2-3 years or so, but that's the number for you. 500 crores in terms of fourth quarter loss, up from 190 crores. The stock is at 346. Needless to say, this is an all-time low. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I think now we need to look at the chart of Hindustan Unilever. 4 साल से इस शेयर ने कुछ नहीं किया है, and I think it's about time that some changes happened for the better. Okay, remember about 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago, Sakshi, there was a big blowout that happened on Hindustan Unilever. Well, that high was somewhere like 2389. Let's hope that high is taken out now. Mitesh, your view, very strong volumes today at the first 40 minutes of trade, and of course the stock seems to have bottomed out on at least the long term charts.
Yes, am I audible now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, okay.
Yes,
So, yes,
absolutely.
yes, yes, Sanjay, what you have advocated is absolutely right. On the day of 7th of May 2024, stock witnessed a marathon run and hit a high of 2389.16. After that, it is into the consolidation zone. I am of the view that on the longer chart, as you have said, stock has finally formed a bottom in the range of 2200 to 2250. So now, yes. Hello.
Yes, Mitesh, please continue.
Yes, Mitesh ji, please continue, sir.
Yeah, so now the stock is looking for 2381 shares, which is the high for the week ended 18th of May 2024. So once the stock will cross about 2381, stock is definitely buying. After that, the next target which is available for the stock is 2667, which is the high for the week ended December 29, 2023. So we are keenly watching for 2381. Once the stock give a close above 2381, it's definitely a buy, and then it's a trend reversal for the stock, and then the stock was finally at 2667.
Okay, let's look at some other spaces where markets might be buoyant. At the moment, ladies and gentlemen, there's a bit of a sea of red. In fact, we are at 941, and Sakshi, an important crossover has happened, which means that falling stocks have exceeded gaining stocks. Now, this is a bit of a problem. We are on the weekly expiry of the Bank Nifty. Now, advances, stocks in the green are 1087, and stocks which are falling are 1090. So a swing has happened from gainers towards losers. So the market breadth has now turned negative. 22,580 is something that the markets have been unable to view. Sakshi.
Okay, well, at this point in time, we are seeing the Nifty hover at around 22,540 odd levels, about flattish with a positive bias kind of a trade that can be seen on this one. And it's the FMCG space clearly that's been buzzing. Now Dabur has emerged as the top mover on the F&O space. It's moving sharply higher in trade at around 2.5%, followed by some of the gains that are coming across Marico that Shell has highlighted already, 2% higher for this one. Then we also have Colgate Palmolive that's moving up. Remember, even yesterday the stock was showing signs of move, and 1.5% of a move is being seen across this. ITC, as has been pointed out by Mitesh, is now 1% higher at 439 odd levels. He started talking about the stock when it was around 437 odd levels, and the stock is consistently moving up. You also have Nestle, that's again 0.5% higher in trade as well. Britannia, that's up by 1%. So all across the board, we are seeing the FMCG space moving up as well. What about the other stocks beyond ITC? Where would you see momentum continue to build on, Mitesh?
Britannia is one thing, one stocks where we see a strong momentum going forward. So Britannia looks pretty promising on the chart. trading at 5229. We are of the view that a fresh move is on the card above 5240. So stock will sooner than later cross 5240 and enter into a new trading range. So for the day, with a stop of 5180, one can start buying at 5220 for a potential cut target of 5250, 5280 for the day. Britannia looks promising on the hourly and 15-minute chart.
Okay, so that's as far as Britannia is concerned. Let's see if Shail is back with us. Yes, Shail.
Yes, Sakshi. A bit of a downtick. Let's hope this is momentary. And the Nifty, ladies and gentlemen, has taken out the 22,500 level on the downside. In a single 5-minute tick, it's moved lower from 22,570 to 22,506. And that's because, let's look at the pullers and draggers list. Okay. SBI, ICICI Bank, Axis Bank. So this is again weekly expiry led. Remember, the Nifty Bank is 0.5% lower, nothing to be worried about. We react to every move on the index, but you shouldn't be doing that. Our job is just to mark price. So the Nifty Bank on its weekly expiry day is down 220 points, less than 0.5% lower. The Nifty is being pulled down, the private and the public sector banks. What's holding the Nifty up? Reliance, ladies and gentlemen, 33 points higher. Because the contribution to the Nifty is 33 points in the positive by Reliance, 8 points in the positive by ITC, Hindustan Unilever, Coal India and Infosys. I think Mitesh has already touched upon Coal India as one of his preferred picks. That's changed a digit today, Sakshi. 500 rupees. Yes, let me just look at the long-term chart. I'm sure this is a record high and a fresh move is afoot. I distinctly remember somewhere in 2011, the company came out with an IPO which was listed very well, then had a terrible time. Yes, this is a record high. And let's also take this opportunity to take a view on NTPC from Mitesh. Mitesh, what are the charts telling you? This is a record high by a very long margin. 371 for you.
Yeah. So I think with looking at the ferocity of the up move, one stock which is a complete laggard in this space is NTPC. Despite the fact that in last few weeks it is going through a patchy ride, that is a high consolidation, because for the week ended 3rd of May 2024, it hits an all-time high of 380.40. After that, this is the third week running, but that high has not been taken over. So we are of the view, Shailji, that the stock within the entire PSU basket, this is the only stock which is absolute laggard. It's a part of FNO. So sooner than later, stock will enter into a new trading range and will hit 500. That is our ultimate target for the stock. So yes, definitely one can go long at the current level, around 370 odd levels for a potential at a 370 odd levels for a with a stop of 320. It's a deeper stop loss because the targets are higher for a potential target of 450, 500. The stocks should and must be a part of your portfolio.
Okay, Mitesh, let's also mark the markets again. Right. So, sectorally the action has turned weak. Metals are now down by 1%. So, profits clearly being taken off the metals pack now. Along with this, I'm also looking at autos that are down 0.5%. Financial services, of course, as a part of Nifty Bank is down. PSU banks are down 0.6%. Private banks are down 0.4%. So, the banking space is in pain right now. And that's probably leading this correction in the markets. And when we look at healthcare, consumer durables, oil and gas, we do see some downticks now coming in across the board, barring FMCG, that's up by 0.8%, which we just discussed. IT is flattish, and we see some gains coming in on the realty pack today. Let's get Mitesh into the conversation as far as the real estate space is concerned. Should one stick with the real estate names and the kind of moves that we are seeing across macro tech, prestige, Sobha, some of these stocks that are continuing to move? Mitesh, how are you looking at this entire space?
Yeah, so let us understand one thing, Sakshi, before we take on to the realty index. as we are approaching towards the deadline of 4th June, volatility is going to be very high. And that is what I'm pointing out since the beginning of the show, that you need to be very strict with your stop loss. You need to be very disciplined in today's market because volatility is here to stay for a longer period of time. So it might happen that throughout the day we see a good amount of volatility, and at the end of the day we might see the indices closing in green or a flat to positive close and a very strong stock specific action. So reality per se is a very high beta counters, and yes, we are looking a very strong trend in DLF, Godrej Properties, Prestige Estate. So definitely overall reality, we are sticking to this space. And yes, post-election, one can see a marathon run in all these stocks, all these sectors which are a high beta in nature. But till that time, your stomach should digest or should be ready for a high volatility, because here we are talking about a VIX which is at 22, right? So yeah, 25 weeks, 26 weeks is achievable going forward, and that sets for a high volatility. So be very clear, disciplined with your stop losses. It's going to hit on both the sides, actually, on buy as well as sell side. But one need to stay in the game, because going forward, the after the volatility gets settled and the result is out after whatever period, the outlook looks promising, because majority of the charts are giving a very strong signal on the monthly and the quarterly chart, which advocate the fact that the trend is here to stay for a longer period of time. So yes, we are extremely bullish on the market and the sector which you're talking about, but one need to be very disciplined and clear with the trailing stop loss strategy.
Okay, so that's as far as the real estate space is concerned. What else are you watching out at currently, Shail?
Sakshi, I can't take my eyes away from Britannia. Let me assure you, this stock will reclaim all-time highs. 5361. I leave the rest of the task to Mitesh ji. Your views, sir, on Britannia. This is the highest that we've seen since 8th of Jan, and it's a whisker away from an all-time high. Your views, sir?
Selji, more will make you more. And when the PSU rally has started, nobody has believed it. And generally, per se, the entire FMCG space will never behave like a high beta counter. But believe me, this time around, we have seen a very strong up move in the Nifty FMCG index. We have, as per our scientific system and method, witnessed a very strong breakout. So entire FMCG space is up for a buy. And Britannia, there is no surprise if the stock will start trading between 5,800, 6,200 in near future. So the entire the FMCG space is on fire. And if you, by the time I'm talking about Britannia, Marico is hitting a new high at 607.25. So Marico today hits 620, 630, no surprise. So the entire strong trend in the entire FMCG space has just started. And like PSU space, the trend is here to stay for longer. So yes, Britannia even at 52.74 is a buy. Marico at 607 is a buy. Colgate at 2721 is a buy. ITC at 441 is a buy.
Fair point. Let's look at the Nifty FMCG chart, ladies and gentlemen. The all-time high for this index is 57,969 that we saw on January 5th, 2024. From then on, the index slid all the way down to 52,000. So that was a very nice 12% correction on the index itself. And now on, it's of course amongst the top gainers today, up almost 1%, led by Lever, helped by ITC, boosted by Britannia, Marico, Dabur. So the front line of FMCG, ladies and gentlemen, is now clicking in the green. Remember, the market is defensive as well, at higher levels of 22,500, 22,600. It is having a problem on the Nifty to move up because of India VIX. Again, 0.3, it's 22.12. Let me just see what is the percentage rise on India VIX. I have been sort of looking at this index. Okay, the percentage rise, ladies and gentlemen, today is 1.46. The level that you see on India VIX because of the excessive volatility in the market is from July 2022. So that's almost now close to a 22-month high on this counter, and this is bound to go higher still, because we are awaiting the national elections. It's because of higher India VIX that it's the Nifty that's finding it difficult to move sustainably higher, and therefore the money is moving into defensive counters such as FMCG that have been disappointing for a while. Remember, Hindustan Lever has done nothing for the last 4 years. Ditto Dabur as well. They've been caught in that sideways band for years together, and about time that you see some good action coming in, because most importantly, the predictions of a good monsoon are there on way. Sakshi, what are you watching?
Well, Shail, on the PSU counters are now seeing some profits being taken off. So let's get Mitesh into the conversation to find out which are the best ones to really add on these dips as well. Because every time we look at them, they're always trading 5% higher, 10% higher, 15% higher, and therefore they do not give any opportunities to investors to get into. Now that we are seeing some dips coming in, where exactly would you keep your eye out on, Mitesh, when it comes to the PSU stocks? I can see ONGC, Container Corp, IOC, Power Grid, HPCL, BPCL, RECPFC, they're all sliding about 1.5–2% lower in trade. Anything that looks positive to you in these dips that should be added?
Absolutely. 4 stocks needs to be added on every dip. First is your BHEL. Second is the Coal India, which is a fresh breakout. Third is a duo RECPFC, and fourth is a Container Corporation. So I think in a way it's a 5 stocks, but when I take REC and PFC together, there are 4 stocks. So these 4 stocks I am considering as a very strong contender for a upside, and we have discussed this in recent past as well, that when the correction comes in the REC, PFC or all the stocks, it is really deep in nature, and one can definitely see that it's a trend reversal and the story is over. But after a few weeks, these same stocks are hitting new highs. This we have discussed time and again on the show. So yes, actually, I am of the view that RECPFC, AZDO, Container Corporation, BAIL, and Coal India, these are the 4 stocks which one should eye at and add on dips. The marathon run on this stock is still continue for the next 2 years. Every dip should and must be bought into.
Okay, every dip should be bought into these 5 stocks. Hope viewers, you are taking note of this. But BHEL, let's continue the conversation, and I'll get Shail also into the conversation today. Kotak Institutional Equities has given a sharp downtick in terms of the target price as far as BHEL is concerned. They believe the fair value of the stock is at 75 rupees. Remember, this comes after the earnings. Kotak Institutional Equities believes flat execution has driven the miss on the earnings. Provision write-backs continue to be supportive. With ordering at 3 times of revenue and potentially peaked out, the focus would shift to pace of execution and margin improvement. However, weaker earnings, they actually believe that the stock has run up. Current stock price is somewhere around 319 odd levels, and they do see the fair value at 75 rupees. How should one be really reading into such negative reports that come in terms of target prices that are bound to concern a lot of investors, Shail?
Sakshi, let me just say this categorically, that sometimes a research report is written to force you to vacate your long-term holdings, and perhaps this is one instance where let's just not take names of brokerages. This is one instance where such an activity is visible across the board. There are 2 reports, one from a domestic brokerage and one from a global brokerage that have given substantially lower price targets on BHEL. My own understanding is that just focus on the order book. See, the stock is reacting negatively to a 26% drop in 4th quarter profit. Just look at the order book. Just look at the order books of defense companies. That's where the probability of sustained sales growth and profit growth is coming. We are sitting in the smack in the middle of a capacity expansion exercise across corporate India, it is unlikely for BHEL not to participate in it. It's yes, run up sharply. It will take a breather. Move around like 280, 270, 260 and then maybe reclimb its previous journey. Mitesh ji is better placed on charts as far as I am concerned. But this is just a knee-jerk reaction. If you have delivery of the stock, don't exit fully. You may want to book partial profit, but this is a stock to hold and enjoy the uptick for a couple of more quarters, if not for 2 or 3 years. Mitesh ji, what are the charts of BHEL telling you for the medium to long term?
Sir, as I said, this is definitely a counter which needs to be bought. And one thing which we should not forget is the fact that today's reaction is something which needs to be noted. But recently, the stock has hit its earlier all-time high at 318.30 on 3rd of May 2024. From 318, stock has formed a bottom of 267. It was a very strong correction in recent past. But what has happened? Post that, stock has traded above 318 and formed a new high. Earlier, if you see the correction on 4th of March 2024, stock has hit at that point of time an all-time high of 275. From there, it slipped and formed a bottom of 207. Hefty correction, what has happened? After that, stock has formed an all-time high at 380. So, in a nutshell, every dip has been bought into in last 1 year. And after that, stock has formed a new high with a very big bang. So we are of the view that such weaknesses should and must be bought into. As Sakshi has pointed out that earlier you don't have an opportunity to participate in the stocks because they have a one-side run-up. So now the stocks are giving us an opportunity to participate. We should not miss this.
We should not miss this. Clear conviction coming in from Mitesh ji. Well, thank you so much, Mitesh, for being with us on the show and discussing all these insights for all our viewers as well. Truly value your presence on Business Today and on Market Today as well. Markets back up into the green, 22,550. We can see again. So volatility is very, very high at this point in time. The Nifty Bank, however, continues to reel under pressure, about 0.5% lower in trade at 47,807 as of now. Most of the stocks from the private banking space are exerting this pressure on the Nifty as well. But let's see how the days really pans out, because in a span of just about 45 minutes of trade itself, we have seen some swings coming in. Let's see how the day really pans out. Remember, it's the weekly expiry for the Nifty Bank as well. So we are going to be looking at the banking index throughout the trading session. Let's look at the top movers at this hour. So Coal India, Hindustan Unilever, Britannia, Reliance, Ultratech Cement and ITC. These are the top movers on the Nifty as of now. On the downside, you have Hindalco, Sun Pharma, BPCL, State Bank of India, Power Grid, Apollo Hospitals and Shriram Finance as the top losers at this point. F&O movers, PI Industries moves to the top spot, 3.5% higher. Metropolis Healthcare, Marico, Balkrishna Industries, Dabur, and Coal India. These are the top movers, up about 2.5 to 3.5% each as far as F&O moves are concerned. On the downside, BHEL, as we've discussed, 6% lower. You have Max Financial Services, IEX, that's now down 4% in the F&O space. And you have Zydus Life, NMDC and Steel Authority as the top losers at this point in time. Viewers, we'll continue to track the market move for you throughout the trading session. So stay with us as throughout the course of the day, we will get you earnings conversations, daily calls follows at 12 noon, which answers your stock related queries. And then Shail and I will be back on the closing of the show at 2:30 p.m. So stay tuned all across as the action continues on Business Today Television.